Ooh, shake it. Okay, you ready? Shake it. Okay. I love it. Okay. So remember, this is the story about the seven realms. And this is the map of the seven realms. And what we've just discovered is that realm number 6 is the volcano realm. Right here. This is the volcano realm. And what has happened is that Sparky, Sam, and Thane just landed on the shore of this island. Sparky is holding Thane down because the evil wizard, who is the twin of Miss Z, is trying to capture Thane. And as you know, Thane is the holder of whether or not the seven realms can stay and people can thrive there. So we're concerned about what's happening to Thane. Remember also that a lot of our heroes are down underneath the water on a ship. So Captain Maritza Lupita Montoya, we call her Sunshine, has formed a bubble and has dropped the ship down underneath the water. And they are now watching the underwater realm from the underwater boat that is in this bubble. Okay. So now what we noticed is right alongside the entrance, because remember, I told you the only floating ship in all the seven realms is the one that Captain Maritza captains all around. And so now we're looking and we're seeing a shipwreck down here next to the opening where you go into the underwater realm. And remember, in the underwater realm, Miss C's evil twin is in there. And we know that Miss C is the most powerful wizard in all the seven realms. And all the seven realms are above the water. And this realm is below the water. So we want to make sure we remember that. Miss Z, we've got Miss C, we've got Brooke, we've got Miss C, Brooke. I know, Jared. We've got Jared the Giant. These are all on the ship right now. They're all underwater on the ship. And they're trying to devise a plan to get into the underwater realm so that they can figure out what to do with Miss Z's evil twin. I know, I think we're going to have to I've got to think of a name for Miss Z's evil twin, something like Methusa. Methusa? Miss Z's evil twin? Mizzou? I don't know. I won't be able to remember that.
What about Miss T or
Miss? Oh, we could do, yeah, a different letter. I like it. Miss C, Miss A. Miss C, the opposite right there. Miss D, Miss A. So we're going to call, Mr. A. No, Miss A. It's got to be Miss A. So Miss Zena's evil twin is Miss A. Miss Nez. Ooh, Miss Nez. Miss V.
Ooh.
Miss Nez.
V for Vendetta.
Oh, V for Vendetta. Ooh. Miss V. Okay, I like that too. Okay, Miss V. Miss V. Miss Evil Twin is Miss V. Okay. V and Z. Yeah, I got you. Okay, Miss V is the evil twin of Miss C, who has now taken over the underwater world because Mello had to go save Buzz, who we just found out is also under the control of Miss V. So that's where we are right now. And let's see. I think that's good. And you know how everything. Okay. Let's see. So as we're on the boat underneath the water, looking towards the underwater realm, we see that there is a lot of blue light coming from in that globe under the water. Miss Z knows that Miss V is now starting in on the creatures that live in this underwater realm. Miss Z does not know exactly how Miss V is going to be able to get these creatures from the underwater realm up to the very top where the castle and the other 7 realms are. This will be a battle that Miss Z doesn't know if she could win, if that's what's going to happen. So we all start talking about what we're seeing. We notice that Mello is real close to the ship because Mello needs a little instruction. There's not a way for Mello to get in through the underwater area because Miss V has closed that off. The only way that we know anybody can get in there is Miss Z, and Miss Z is able to teleport herself to any realm at any time. So what happened is, on the island where Sam and Sparky are holding Thane down because Thane would like to get away to get down to the underwater realm for who knows what despicable things Miss V has in store. Sam, quickly thinking, grabs a couple of grapes and tosses them towards the opening where Sparky is holding Thane down. The grapes were going in the hole, and you could hear Thane stopping and smelling the grapes. Thane eats the first grape, starts to calm down just a little bit. And Sparky knows that these grapes are magical, and that's how Sparky got trained, was because Sam has these grapes. So Sam throws another grape down in the hole, and you could hear the sniffing around, and then the plucking of the grape and the chewing of it, almost like a little giggle coming from inside of those wings that Sparky's holding Thane in. Sam gives a command for Sparky to release. Sam says, "Release, Sparky." Sparky lets go of the wings, and Thane sits up and looks around. Thane knows who they are. It's like Thane recognized what just happened. And so we now know that we need to get Thane somewhere safe. So Sparky, Sam, and Thane all go to the secret lair where all of the dragons can go. And it's underneath this island, in the backside of the island, where only dragons can seem to get to the backside of this island, this floating, or this island right here. And so, as they take off and leave the dragon's lair, and they stay there, they know that this is the safest place for them to go. The next thing we know, the next thing we know, Maritza says it's time to go to the top. Maritza floats her ship to the very top of the water. The ball lifts up off of the ship, comes back down around, and now is back into Maritza's hand. She goes and takes it into her office on the ship and puts it back where it goes. It's a magical spear that allows anybody with control of it to sink into the deepest parts of all the oceans to be able to see what goes on down there. So now they're on the top of the water, and they are very close to realm number 6. Realm number 6 is the volcano realm. Remember, we're wondering where Buzz has gone to. Buzz, last we heard, was on her way to go pick up that book that tells us about these times and the stories that people have said over generations about what was about to happen. Nobody knows where Buzz is at. Miss Z lifts up the globe, whispers into it to Buzz, asking where Buzz is at. The globe hovers around Miss Z. It has nowhere to go. Like Buzz is not in the 7 realms. She thought this to be very peculiar. So Miss Z comes over to me and Kamoji and says, something's wrong. Buzz is missing. Buzz should have been here by now. I'm concerned. And so as we talk about it, I think that me and Kamoji need to go to Buzz's tavern to find out where Buzz could be. And so me and Kamoji leave everybody on the ship and we head out. And we're heading to Buzz's tavern. So right now, the ship is about right here, right by the volcano island. And me and Kamoji are headed to Buzz's tavern. That book is very important. It could make the difference between whether or not we win this battle between good and evil. Me and Kamoji set off in our raft that we had behind the ship, and we're headed over. We set sail, and now we're headed to the island where Buzz is located. So, meanwhile, back on the ship, Maritza Lupita Montoya takes out her spyglass, looks out at the volcano island. She notices small little smokes, like tiny little fires all over next to the volcano. The volcano is erupted. Look at all the tiny fires. This is the closest she's been to this island. She's never stopped here. When you pull up close to the pier where you can park your ship, nobody's there. It looks vacant. Who is on this land? What's this land about? Jared and Katsu decide that they're going to go check it out. Captain Maritza says that she will go with, along with Brooke and Ace. And Ace is going because it's time for us to find out exactly what Ace is about, what Ace is going to be doing, what Ace can help with, what our missions are. And so now they all load up and they get in their boat and they head to shore. And as soon as they got to the beach, they felt like something was there. Something was watching them. Miss Z didn't go. Miss Z is still on the ship. She has things to calculate and things to do. She wants to know where that book is. She's waiting for me and Kamoji to return. So as the people get off at the island, they can see this trail. It's overgrown. Of course, it looks like nobody has walked on this path in many, many years. And as they started walking on the path and they got a ways from the beach, they turned around and they looked. And when they looked out, it was as though the ship was translucent. It seemed to go in and out of focus, almost as though there was something happening to the ship. Maritza knew that whatever was happening, Miss Z was in control of it. She knew that Miss Z would take care of her ship, but she needed to continue this travel on. She's never been to this island. She must document it. She must see what it's all about. And as they walk a little further on this path that is overgrown, they noticed little burnt spots along the way. A burnt spot here and a burnt spot over there. It was very odd, all of these burned spots. They took note of it. What Brooke noticed was that each burn spot had tiny little white and blue crystals all around in the ash. She remembered reading a little bit about the magical powers that these sparkles have. So she bends down. She had reached into her pantsuit and pulled out a small little leather satchel. She wasn't sure exactly what to do with it, but she had her scrape knife where she scraped some of this into the satchel and closed it up. She can't wait to find out exactly what these have in store. She tucks it back into her pocket of her pantsuit and continues to walk. Ace seemed to have noticed that Brooke stopped. Ace was watching Brooke very closely on what she was doing. He felt a kind of way about Brooke, Lady Brooke. Lady Brooke didn't give him the time of day, though. He wasn't sure why. Not that he could be a little shorter than she is. Very top, where now they can see the very edge of the volcano. And they noticed what looked like little ants running up and down the volcano. Little ants. And what would happen is, as the ant ran up to the top of the volcano. It had a little fiery red back as it came running back down in the grass. And it was like that was their purpose, was to run up this volcano, catch on fire, run back down. I've never seen such a thing. Maritza had never seen such a thing. Tiny little ants just burning everywhere. They would never burn. They weren't burning. They were just catching little things on fire as they were running around after coming down from the volcano. We took note of that. Maritza decided that she should collect a few of those. And so she got out her satchel, got out some tweezers, because they're tiny. Got a few, stuck them in the satchel, and put them back in her pocket. It was the most peculiar thing she'd ever seen. But as they kept walking, not knowing what they were going to find, Katsu stopped and said, "There's a black shard here. We don't have the satchel with Oscar in it. We don't have a way to carry it. We should never touch it. I'm not sure how we're going to get the black shard when we do find it." Maritza said, "I will figure something out. We'll figure it out." So now they continue walking, and they get around and past the ants. And as they come around, they could hear they don't know where it's coming from. They keep walking. It gets louder. They walk a little further. They come through some bushes and some trees. And they can see a big bonfire. And on this island, with the big bonfire, were two rock people. And the tapping was them dancing around the bonfire, having almost what looked like a fight, like they were fighting with each other, yelling and dancing around this big bonfire. It's the most incredible thing that Maritza had ever seen. I don't even know what to say. And Jared, remember, is a giant. And as Jared came up with Katsu, one of the rock people saw him. There was some grumbling. There was a lot of noise. One of the rocks jumped towards us. I don't know if I know rock talk. I don't know what's going to happen. Remember, Kamoji is the one who can talk to any species on any part of all of the realms. Kamoji is the one, and she is not here. Maritza, not knowing what to do, comes out of the bushes and says, "Hold it!" And the rock that was closest to her stopped in the tracks. Maritza said, "We are here to find out who you are. What kingdom is this? What realm are you?" And the rock looked straight at Maritza. Heck yeah! What? No! What? No way! No way! Oh my goodness, what is to happen? Oh my goodness. Okay, so now, oh my goodness.
Maritza.
Wow, Maritza. What's going to happen? I'm scared. I know, that was a good cliffhanger. I know, Kamoji. I know. What? I know, rock people. Well, you know, they have to be rock people because they're on the island with lava. I mean, right? I would think. Heck yeah, Mello! I know. Oh my goodness, those ants. We got to figure out what those ants are about. I know.